What is your biggest purchase this year? You're listening to
Jom Sembang, Malaysia. I think my biggest purchase this year was a massage chair.
And this year is only 6 months, but yes, it's good enough for us to know.
Yeah, massage chair.
How much is a massage chair?
I think I spent about 3,000 ringgit. Just under.
Just under 3,000 ringgit. So let's talk about the purchase lah. Why, what, who, where? Come on. Don't answer short what dah.
Okay.
Massage chair, finish, end of story.
Okay. You know how you say when you go out, chances of spending money is more. So it's not like I've ever wanted one. In fact, I always tell myself don't get one because I always see other people's house, the massage chairs lying around and collecting dust. And I don't know, it's like such a waste of money, and then does it really do the trick, and then all those things lah. So I've never really wanted one, although if I go to a friend's house and there is one, I might actually try it out. I might get a massage.
Okay lah. So you actually do enjoy massages.
I do enjoy massages. For me, it is a full body massage is like love language. For me, it's a time when I feel like I love myself. I feel like very in touch with whatever lah. You know, I feel like that's a moment where I can just relax or try to relax or not think about work. So it is something that I do enjoy.
Okay.
I don't do it very often. A massage chair is different. I always thought it's not, you cannot feel the human touch of, like it's not going to hit the sore points lah. To me, it's just like, okay lah, it's like a cheap version of, trying to get it more often, but you don't want to go to a massage parlor. Then okay lah, have one in your house. So that background lah. Then I was killing time. In this mall because I had to go from PJ to Sunway Damansara one day and had like 4 hours to kill. So okay lor, took my mother go Wanutama. So we're walking. Actually towards the end already, I only had 1 hour left to kill. And then we saw this exhibition thing, and then the uncle very smart. He made a beeline to my mother. My mother's walking with a tongkat ma.
Okay.
He said, "Auntie, you want to try or not?" My mother, of course, will say no because she doesn't really fall for this kind of thing. Nah, don't lah. Then after that, he says, "No lah, you feel better." Then I thought, maybe good for her to relax also lah because we've been walking and then I've got to go. She's going to follow me and wait for this class to finish. So okay, she tries and then can see her smiling no. The massage is going on, she's smiling. And then the uncle was really good salesman lah. Then he's saying, it's good for your circulation, so therefore it'll be good for your health. Then you feel better, a bit cheerier. Then I think. Then she said, this one usually 5-figure one, and then now it's only 1,000 plus. So below 2K, right? Or it was a crazily cheap, like literally -10 kind of less than 2K. Then I thought, actually, okay also, right? I mean, if it's for health. So for me, right, generally, if it's something that I feel is good for my well-being, chances of me saying yes to it is a lot higher than if it was just for fun or just for entertainment's sake.
Okay.
So I began to consider, and then he very smart someone. He said, you want to try or not? So okay lor, try lor. And then he said, okay lah, so the price like that. Then if you want extended warranty, then you pay extra. That's how it became to almost 3. But I give you a voucher, so up to August, you can, all these things, you can go and collect. So the sales pitch was very, very, very good. The product was actually also very good. There are things that I enjoyed about it, like it had
it's a correct fit.
Correct fit. And then there was a gravity kind of function to it where you feel like, you're not just sitting and you're like lying.
Floating?
Like, a little bit lah. That kind of feeling lah. So okay. Then he said, it will only come next month. Okay lah, cause no stock. That's why they are now taking all the stock. And then next month it will arrive. Okay, fine. Then I already made up my mind. Then they said, you can do some more free 0 installment. Blah, 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 blah. Then I'm thinking, okay lah, like 100 and something per month. They're going to deduct. I'm like, okay lah. Let's go for it lah. Don't think so hard lah. Someone got a voucher.
Don't think so hard. Juwita already like fast already. Must go and meet this uncle.
So yeah. And then the thing was, he said come next month. It wasn't the beginning of next month. The end of next month only it was coming. Because I checked and said, hey, when's this thing coming? Because I want to prepare the house, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, end of next month. I'm like, wow, serious ah. Then you begin to kick in, your brain starts to think, and my mom is going, maybe you should cancel. Never mind lah, I already decide lah. Let's just go for it lah. Let it come. I think it was a good purchase because we're actually using it every day, both of us, sometimes twice a day. And it's given me this moment of 15 minutes where I cannot touch my phone. I still touch lah sometimes. But, and then it's just relax and not being able to do other things. And I think it's good for me. And after that, I can actually go to sleep. Not that I couldn't go to sleep before, but I feel like I'm more ready to sleep than prior to this.
Now I'm wondering, does long-term daily massage got effect or not? Anyway, today's topic is actually all about justifying our spending habits.
Yeah.
That's why I started with the big items that you purchase, because then normally we find that when we buy something that is a big item, it needs more justification than smaller item. I feel, because smaller items that you buy, doesn't work, never mind, because it's the amount or the value is so
Correct.
small. Yeah.
So big as in monetarily.
The amount, the value big. Yeah.
Correct.
More of that kind of things lah. Yeah.
What about you
Me. I've been spending very little the last 6 months.
Okay.
Because of the inflation and everything that I'm proud to say that I used to spend a lot of money on small purchases.
Okay.
Small purchases, like for example, I will go to Shopee and then I'll find some 1 ringgit thing, 2 ringgit thing, 3 ringgit thing. It used to be like a every fortnight habit, Just buying something because it's cheap. And then trying it out or using it. Normally it's quite functional things lah. It's not non-functional things.
Okay.
So it could be something like an extra tablecloth.
Okay.
Or because the tablecloth design look quite interesting. Or like an extra maybe hanger or something.
Yeah.
Like really cheap stuff. Like 1 ringgit to 2 ringgit.
Yeah, I know, because
cheap
sometimes
stuff.
you send me a picture, hey, this one, you want or not? Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's cheap.
Or it's cute. Or like, like I bought a fridge magnet because it's cute. It's a French fries. Magnet.
So not me.
And stuff like that. And then at the back of my mind, I always said that if it's not functional, it's just 1 ringgit. I can just throw it away.
Okay.
Or like I can use it and it breaks because it's too cheap. It's okay. Yeah, because it's very cheap. So I used to do a lot of that. But starting this year, I kind of make an intentional goal not to do that.
Is this to avoid accumulating waste in your house? Or because earlier you were saying you were also reducing? Or is it to reduce
so
the
actually,
spending?
I realized that those small purchases can sum up to about 50 ringgit a month.
Okay.
I mean, you don't see it, but you will just say, I'm buying, this purple plastic bag or whatever is it, right? Then if I'm looking at my expense, it will be like maybe 40 ringgit, 30 ringgit, 40 ringgit, like that, So that is like, for me, I said, okay, if I try to reduce this, I can save about 500 a year.
Okay.
So I intentionally not have it there.
And right, to some people, they think of your $1, $2, 1 ringgit, 2 ringgit thing. But it's 40, 50 ringgit thing. It's only 40 ringgit, okay lah. Then I just imagine how much it accumulates to.
Correct. Because I track my expenses, you see. So I was able to track that last year I did a lot of small purchases.
Yeah.
And I did it quite regularly. Like maybe every 10 days. I order something, it takes a week to arrive. And it arrives with nothing else to wait at the mail. Got these few things that I pull up. Cute paper clip or nice stencil.
I think that's
nice
how they
paper.
make their money lah. All these online shopping.
And cheap stuff, right? So and then you buy the cheap stuff and then you need to hit like 15 ringgit to get free shipping. Then you add a few more. Correct. So actually you thinking you're buying a 150 thing.
Yes.
But you're actually buying 150 times 10 because you're trying to hit the 15, right?
Right.
Then you go into a shop and say, okay lah, I buy some stickers. Then I go wrap present one. Or I buy some envelopes because I make cards one.
Yeah.
And then it accumulates.
Yeah.
So that was like my small purchase, so-called endless black pit down the road. Which I have already cut off. And I realized that it really helped improve my entire monthly budget.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. But looking at, let's say, those are for me are not justified kind of habit lah. It's more of like saja, Like even you have no money, everyone thinks you can buy something that's 1 ringgit lah.
Yeah.
Right? But then the bigger purchase that I had, maybe the last 5 years lah, is actually my laptop. My MacBook Pro. Yeah. It was quite a big sum lah.
But you use that for work.
Yes, but then I find that I need to earn quite a bit to cover up. For example, right, because I use Apple products, it's just a bit more expensive than normal products, right? And Apple product nowadays, they don't have like, they are those kind that you cannot add memory after you order the laptop. It's not like your laptop that you can just add memory, your PC, Windows kind of laptop, right? So what I did was my last purchase, I deliberately upgraded some stuff.
Okay.
So instead of the 6,000 or 7,000, mine was close to 10,000.
Okay.
And to a lot of people, it's insane lah. Have you spent 10,000 ringgit on a laptop?
No, but only because I don't use high engine. I don't need that level of processing. But if I were to do like serious sound editing work, like DAW processing or like videos, I think it would totally be justified.
So for me, my video editing is not even like animation or whatever. I'm just using basic iMovie. So imagine if I'm like the rest of the video editor out there who downloads, let's say, Adobe Premiere Pro or whatever, right? They need even more processor than I do. So I actually overload on my processor and overload on my memory just because of one very big reason.
What?
I'm tired of keep backing up my files to make space. It's a pain.
It's
a pain in the ass is because I have a lot of media files, videos files and all that, right? So it takes up space easily. So my previous laptop, every time I can do 2 projects at one time. The third project come in, the first project has to go to the external drive.
Yeah.
And then I don't like working from external drive. It's like it corrupts, it's slow and whatever, right? So when I got this laptop that I'm currently using, I purposely up all my space. So that I don't have to back up. Last time, every month I back up. Or every month I so-called move a project to offload. Okay? So now I need to do it, every 6 months. And I feel that I work so much easy. I don't have to want to download something, right? No space, let me clear some space before I download. It's a simple thing. But it's a big stress.
No, but I think for me, that would be totally justifiable.
Yeah, so I kind of upgraded it. I spent that much amount of money. I never told my mom because she said, you buy a new laptop. In her brain, nobody spends 10,000 on a laptop lah. Mine was slightly below it. Mine was like 9.5 something or whatever it is. And it's not even the most highest upgrade.
And it's not even for gaming.
Yeah, it's not even for gaming or anything. It's just one step higher than your average lah. So I think most of my big purchase items are quite justified. For example, like when I bought the H6 for audio recording. Okay lah, that's less justified lah. You use it more than I do lah, even though I'm the one who spent on it.
Oh my gosh, that was a lifesaver during COVID.
Yeah. So I kind of know that when I invest in equipment, I count how much job I need to take to cover it back.
Oh yes.
So that makes it think. So my bad purchase for big items was the H6. I bought it for the purpose of production, right?
Yeah.
So I always feel that I shouldn't have because I don't use it as often as you. I only use it like maybe that 3 production, Pontian, Kinabalu or whatever. But if I want to just make myself feel comfortable, I will just tell myself, if I have rented for those production, I will pay double.
That's true.
But now maintenance is just sitting in my house there like, you know, it just feels like I don't know what I feel about this big purchase because I'm not using it as much as I think it should be used and stuff like that. So I think when it comes to big item for me, looking at that lah, I would tell myself next time, I might have to buy and sell. Otherwise, that item is like, I need to buy it so that I don't spend as much renting it. But I don't like big items sitting around doing nothing after.
And also because technology moves so fast, it will probably become old or obsolete.
Yeah, but H6 is still okay because H2 is still around. So some people are using it.
So I did one. I'm a singer, right? So I bought this vocal processor and then I thought, hey, people using it, you know, at their gigs, it can do harmonies, like can do stuff, everything. But I'm so a not gadget person that I don't enjoy using it and I don't use it to its optimum when I do bring it along.
Okay.
And at first I thought, okay lah, like you lah, I also counted justify or not this purchase. Then I said, okay lah, actually if I just do a few gigs, actually already cover already. But the nice thing about it is, it works when I go to a place that is the equipment really tak memadai one.
Yeah, some places are just not well equipped for singing.
Correct. So that one, right, I just put the basic function, hook up my mic to it. It gives me a certain level of decency in the sound. Like I don't have to think so hard about, oh man, I sound bad, right? Remember we tried that in Malacca and like, pop, you can feel the difference. So for me, it's okay, no. I don't use it every month. As long as you don't spoil lah. But I use it maybe 2-3 times a year. But it makes that big difference. And I have this thing that can help me when I need it. I happy already lah. I think also because I don't buy very often lah. So
yeah, but the thing about laptop nowadays, it's not like last time the computer last 15 years, 20 years, you know. Now laptops or even phone, every 4-5 years.
The iOS will expire.
Yeah, or something like that. I mean, you need to keep upgrading is one thing, but the more you upgrade by the 5th year, it slows down.
True.
So it becomes, for me, harder to justify my purchase.
Correct lah.
You know, because I find that by the time I make enough money to cover this item, it's time to replace a new one. So it's forever just making enough money to cover items so they can buy the next item to replace this one.
Yeah, so that is the the life of a creative, Sometimes people think we all pay so much to do one small thing like that. One small thing But the hell, right? Everything that you earn, right, is going back to just keep yourself upgraded to be maintained.
Correct.
Yeah, production
The
house like that. Look at the studio.
equipment.
Because if you don't have the latest, you're going to sound dated.
Correct.
Especially for sound for other things, I don't know. But like that.
True. So I think when we come back, I want to highlight a few statements. You know how now very popular, red flag, green flag lah.
Okay, red flag, I know. Green flag is, okay, yeah.
Red flag means, what's red flag means?
Red flag means warning signs.
Yeah, warning sign lah, not good lah. Okay, green flag means very good lah.
Okay.
Okay, so when we come back after the break, we shall analyse 5 statements that is quite popular now and whether we think it's red flag or green flag.
Okay. This episode is brought to you by Joy Luck Penang. By now you already know it's a pet-friendly place, but what I really like about it is it's surrounded by greens and you've got different places where you can hang out in this house and got instruments you can jam with.
Clearly, we only take sponsors that we endorse. Okay, this is something that me and my friend kind of talk about, but not quite outright lah. We only talk about with friends. So we're talking about budgeting, right? So how much do you or are you willing to spend on a meal?
Oh.
Not special meal or whatever, just a meal lah.
Yeah.
All right. So how much would you spend on a meal?
Normally
Yeah.
per person
Or how much you're willing to spend, not how much you normally spend. Very
on
different,
a normal meal?
Yeah, a normal meal. How much are you willing to spend on a normal
lunch
meal?
after this kind of thing 18 ringgit.
I like how she was specific. So right, I always tell my friends when I go out, those that I feel that I can comfortable talk with lah. Okay, then my budget every day for meals, 3 meals a day is only 50 ringgit.
50.
Okay, and this 50 ringgit also includes whatever else. For example, like latte, extra latte or drinks or whatever.
Okay.
As long as it's related to food and maybe parking, that's it.
Wow, parking also
So actually my
including
So actually my budgeting is, let's say 50 ringgit a day. That includes everything except for my phone bills, my rental and all this. So it could even include petrol lah.
Oh, okay.
But that's just me lah, right? So I'm budgeting at 1,500 a month. That is my monthly expenses, not including rent, not including bills.
All right.
So anything else, for example, like petrol, parking, go out with friends, buy things are all in that.
Okay.
1,500, one day 50 ringgit lah. Okay, so that also tells me that my meals budget is maybe 20 ringgit a meal lah.
Okay.
That's what I'm willing to spend, or rather have allocated myself to spend lah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what
Around
do you
there also
think about people who are spending 50 ringgit a meal every day? Regularly.
I think if their income allows it, then by all means. You want to treat me? Also can, better still.
It treat you with 100 ringgit, you know.
But if every time I'm out with them, let's say, let's go makan, and every single time it was according to their budget and it's go Dutch, then I would be a little bit uncomfortable. But if they want to spend on it, that's their prerogative. I have no qualms. I have no issues.
But what's interesting about talking this topic about food, right, with you is because you don't cook.
Yeah.
So people like me, I cook, right?
Yeah.
I know that the 50 ringgit for a meal, right, can be normal.
In terms of the cost of the
ingredients or whatever. I mean, let's say you're eating in a cafe.
Yeah.
Right? If you're eating a chicken chop that has a salad and then sides of potatoes or whatever, right?
Yeah, sure.
If I'm not talking about like restaurant, they bulk purchase.
Yes.
So it's cheaper. So let's not talk about bulk purchase because I can't do it at home, right?
Yeah.
But let's say I'm going to my supermarket.
Yeah.
I buy chicken thighs for my chicken chop, which cost me about 8 ringgit, 8 to 9 ringgit. Okay. Then I buy potato, 2 ringgit.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I buy the vegetable.
Yeah.
Let's say another 2 ringgit.
Yeah.
So that's like 14 ringgit, right? I haven't cooked it.
Yeah.
It's 14 ringgit.
Yeah.
There's the oil and everything else and the thyme and the seasoning or whatever, not, right?
Yes.
And then if I go outside eat and it's only 18 ringgit. So I will now tell myself, go outside eat better.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper lah.
Correct.
That's how I justify spending money on food.
But
how do you justify? Because you don't cook, right? So how can you decide whether something is like, in your definition, affordable or not?
In my definition, very easy one. if I just go to the nearby kopitiam in my house, the kopitiam near my house, a bowl of noodles is already going to cost around 10 ringgit. Plus the drink, 14 ringgit. So that's how I benchmark it. So that's why I always say, now you go fast food, could possibly be cheaper also because we don't eat a lot. I don't really need to have the portion of the whole bowl of noodles, but I'm eating it to finish because it's not because I pay for it, because I don't want to waste, right? So I don't really need that amount of food. If I go to a fast food joint, like people, like you were saying, actually it's not really that cheap because people eat more than what I eat. But if I just take one burger, one set, or what? They have the mix and match now. Now you know which fast food I'm talking about already. It's what? 8 ringgit? Someone can get points for it, blah, blah, blah. So I count like that lor. And then let's say I go to a nice cafe. Like let's say there's a cafe near my place as well. And I can spend under 20 ringgit having something that's slightly nicer than the kopitiam near my house. More consistent, aircon, nice environment. Then I think, this is great, So that's how I justify lah. So I think it's because kopitiam prices have gone up so much in the past few years is why I feel like I eat in cafes more often. I go to fast food more
Actually,
often.
it's true.
Go out, previously it would be, you feel the jump. You feel a little bit more like the chicken rice versus, but now chicken rice is already at that amount,
at like
right?
9 or 10.
12?
Correct. You might as
Yesterday,
well go to the cafe, pay extra 2 ringgit.
Feel a bit more spoiled, feel a bit more pampered. And so that's correct. That's how I justify lah.
Interesting. Okay, the next question is, or the next statement is, people nowadays actually don't own cars. They prefer grabbing.
Yes, I know. At least 2 people come to mind.
Yeah. So what do you think about it?
I think it's something I might consider. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea, especially if I'm living alone or I travel a lot alone. And I actually don't travel a lot. So my car mileage is now about 90k and I've had it for 11 years.
Okay.
So that's really low
no
mileage, right? So sometimes I wonder, actually buy this car, right? Like the ROI again is not that great.
But in a way, I always think that you travel more than me. I only leave my house twice a week.
Really?
Yeah, when I come for podcast recording and another time to go survey
I always
or
feel
something.
like you're driving here lah, go Seremban lah,
but those are like, let's say, family makan like far. But we don't do that. We do it once a month.
Okay.
Yeah, last time it used to be weekly, but now it's once a month.
So
but,
so with that kind of usage for my car, I do wonder if I would actually spend a lot less and have a lot less stress with parking and stuff. At the same time, it's got its own cons lah. Like, what if there's no Grab driver or certain... I don't think security is an issue.
So lately, I've been thinking the same like you, just trying life without a car. Because I find that the last 2 years, I spent quite a lot of money repairing the car. That it doesn't justify. It probably like last 2 months, I spent about 6,000. And then last year, I spent another 3,000.
Was this after your car reached a certain age?
No, it's more of like something about the car supposed to go for aircon service. You see, I diligently send my car for service accordingly.
Yeah.
But they never mention about aircon service.
Oh dear.
And they never do it. And then 4 years later, the entire system has to be changed.
That's bad service.
So that was 3,000-4,000.
Gosh.
Then last 2 months was more of like, suddenly they said the entire, suspension system is gone.
That happens.
So that's about 6,000. So about 10,000 in less than 2 years. And I'm thinking I can take that and grab lah, because that's on top of your normal servicing.
Yeah.
Then you need to put petrol and everything, right? So I was thinking, Grab also cannot reach 10,000 lah. Or I think I want to grab 10,000 because I don't need to leave the house that much.
Yeah. And then there are options now that are cheaper than Grab. So, And then now there are those, buses on demand for those?
The vans, the transit in demand.
I haven't tried it. The last time I tried it, it was like, sorry, none available at the moment.
But I think the scary thing about not owning a car is if you cannot get a ride at the time that you want to get a ride.
Exactly.
It's pretty scary.
That is true.
I mean, whether it's going for appointment that you might be late, or you can like try 2 hours early or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? But or coming back or getting stuck at peak hours.
Correct.
I'm not sure whether that stress level is worth my money.
That's
at
true.
the moment lah.
That is true also. And then if you want to pre-book, there's an extra 10 ringgit kind of surcharge on that. So
yeah. Though sometimes when I do Grab, I feel like, wow, like a queen like that, drop at the entrance, pick up at the entrance.
For me, it's almost like an adventure. Like, okay, today I'm going to be the Grab girl. I'm going to be like, like, without my car, like more independent, or actually not really lah, but yeah.
I mean, a little bit out of control kind of feeling for me lah.
Yes.
For example, like, you can see in the jam lah, I don't care, you jam lah, I just sit in the car if someone is driving me,
Yeah.
But it's a totally different ball game. So a lot of younger people nowadays, there is a half opinion on this.
Yes.
Some people like, I'm just going to Grab because it's too stressful.
Right.
They cannot drive in KL.
So both my nephews are getting quite used to that lifestyle, and they are between 20 and 28 years old. So under 30, taking public transportation to work. I mean, there are cars in the house. So the parents have a car each, but both of them don't. They've learned how to drive. So I suppose in the event of an emergency, you still do have a car that you could fall back on. But on a daily basis, they take public transportation.
But
and they're very happy with it.
Yeah, but also because they have the car to fall back on and they don't have to pay for the car.
Correct.
Because there's no way you want to own a car and do public transport. It's a little bit like you pay for your car, then you're paying for Grab or whatever.
So I suppose in that event, in that case, if let's say it's a family, or if you're staying in a, let's say, group home, you're staying with friends, and there is a car that you can fall back on, really need help to send, or can I borrow your car today or whatever, then that level of anxiety will be a lot less lah.
Maybe you should just build a business around it, Have cars around your condo and say you can just rent and drive. If you want to drive, otherwise do Grab.
You got that service, so what? All those
don't know
rent a car.
Yeah. Okay, last statement.
Yeah.
Let me choose one since I actually have quite a lot. People who say that they have no money but always go and eat out and go holiday one.
Oh.
Like, do you know such people and what do you think of it?
I know of such people. At the moment, I can't think of any, but I do know they exist.
So for a period of time, I think a lot of my friends thought that I was rich. Because I
always
was
holiday.
Because last time before the pandemic, right, I used to just like buy flight tickets and I say, okay, I'm going Sabah, bye. Do what? No, I'm just going there to go to live in another friend's house and work from home from another environment. And people always think like, wow, so rich, We just fly off. But I always told them that, okay, I fly there. It's just a different office.
Yeah.
I
and I'm sure you get
work.
A cheap ticket, right?
Like, yeah. Like, I still need to work and everything, but it's just a different office. So some friends are like, oh, sounds nice. So I know some friends who always have not enough to eat. They want to pinjam my money one. But then after that, you see them eating things that is like
more expensive than what you eat.
If I am poor, even if I have no money, I wouldn't be eating like this, Yeah. So more of like, how do you see these kind of friends and what advice do you have for them?
I think, okay lah, living on the edge could be for some people, right? So as long as I can make ends meet at the end of the month, I would definitely not encourage them to borrow lah, because, borrowing kind of like messes up relationships, and why do you want to do that, right? But if you want to say that, okay lah, at the end of the day, wow, then I stinge lah, maybe towards the last. But, you can still pay your rent, you can still do all that, then okay lah, But otherwise, I think I would strongly advise against it lah. Like, don't make it a habit to need that kind of lavish lifestyle. But then again, right, some people, right, it actually makes them happy one, or they need it to feel
mental
alive.
Health.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Sometimes it's like the mental health, the balance of it, They just need to go to the cafe twice a week because it helps them to stay sane. Even though they can't afford it, they need to do it, otherwise they go down the drain even worse lah.
I think it's also something cultivated lah. I think prior to me getting hooked on latte, I think I was coping fine. But now I feel like, okay, wow, I will have a latte. It makes me feel good. And then I have it more than last time, maybe one. Last time I might have it like twice a week. Now I can have it every day. And then
a little bit too convenient.
A little bit too convenient. But I would also look at the price, because I really would rather not spend more than 10 ringgit on one if it was going to be a daily thing. So as long as it exceeds a 10 ringgit mark, then I'd be like, okay, maybe no need lah. Don't want lah.
Okay.
You know, so if it's a bit more accessible, then I'd be like, okay. But yeah, I would tell people, you know, our sense of security shouldn't be in these kind of things lah. Because then it's very dangerous lah. It will only escalate. It will only get more and more and more and worse.
Interesting.
But why not be happy having a chicken rice? Although, yeah, it's very expensive now. It's 12 ringgit.
I for example, for myself now, how I manage my finances, like I say, 50 ringgit a day, right?
Yeah.
So if I happen to stay at home and I don't spend much, then I just accumulate to 3 days later when I meet a friend. Okay I come back, can eat cafe lah. Because last 2 days I never spend much. So I accumulated the amount just to spend the weekend with my family. So like, you know, going out with your family is like, even you go to the cheapest place.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 of us.
Yeah.
20 ringgit each. 80 bucks already.
Yeah,
at the back of my head, 80 bucks is beyond my 50 ringgit budget, right?
Correct.
Right. But then it cannot be like, hello, pay your own, right?
Yeah.
You know, once a week I should try to belanja lah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would do is I will save money from the 2-3 days before. So that I can afford to, when I go out with my friends or family, hit beyond 50.
Okay.
And now I used to don't drink a lot of latte, but I tell you latte is too accessible now lah. Like you say lah. So it started to have promotions online also. So what I do is now I alternate days latte. Yeah. And I find it's decently doable if, for example, if I have my latte at 1 afternoon, tomorrow when I wake up, I say, but I just had yesterday. I can still feel it.
Yes,
right? So I can last, I can skip one day.
Yeah.
But if I have it,
8 o'clock in the morning.
correct. Then the next morning you feel like you need another one.
You know, by afternoon you already feel like you need another one.
So I try to like balance up the thing by, I mean, this is how I just justify my own spending lah. So some of my friends, right, so they go out, they say, Gina nowadays can eat cafe food. Hey, no. Okay, I 3 days never eat anything at home. I come out and I just splurge. So some of my friends, we have the same understanding.
Right.
Like, you know, every day they work in the office, right? They just chap fan, you know, economy rice, whatever. Then come weekend, let's cafe.
Right.
And then when they go to Monday, Friday, back to my chicken rice or chap fan or like my nasi lemak 250 or whatever,
Yeah.
And then weekend, we just splurge a little bit. Yeah. So I think that's how you, no matter how much you're earning, if you want something and you do your budgeting and you can justify it, it's totally workable lah. But if you're not justifying your expenses every day, then it accumulates to a giant thing that might have been managed better.
Correct. And it's worse if it's rolled out in a credit card debt and everything. Please just don't lah.
Yeah. Credit card debt is something that's very interesting. It's because a lot of my friends are using credit card to collect points. Because I mean, it totally makes sense, you know, you get your cash back, you get whatever. But at the end of the day, because you don't see the money that you're being used, then you might not remember to pay back at the end of the month. Or it's too big to pay back and that becomes a problem. So big good problem. To just set things lah. So, before we end this episode, what other stories you want to tell or any advice you want to give to people who are like just, you know, spending too much or spending too little?
Spending too little lah.
Yeah, purposely spending too little. You know, this person in front of me is spending very little.
No.
Yeah, you definitely spend less than 50 ringgit a day.
Not all the time.
And considering that you're not alone, you're like got your mom to take care of.
Yeah, I don't know how I do it. Yeah. I don't know, but your story just now reminded me of a story I heard from Gurmit Singh.
Okay.
He said this on one podcast, I think. And it was something about when he was young. At the end of the week, his friends would like to go to a fast food joint. And he always felt like he couldn't join them because he couldn't afford it.
Okay.
And so during the weekdays, he would always skip a meal. He had pocket money, which was very small lah. But if every day he realized he skipped one meal, then he would be able to join his friends.
During the weekends?
During the weekend to go to that fast food joint after school. Oh, it was a Friday or something lah after school lah. So when and then he says now every time he goes to a new place, the first thing he does is he goes to that joint and he eats whatever he wants to eat and he remembers in gratitude, you know, how far he's come from that time. Like now I can. So when I heard that story, right, mixed feelings lah, you know. In one sense, it's sad that, you know, just because you want to not be left out by your friends who have more than you, therefore you have to starve during the week. But I think in his sense, it was missing one meal, which is not that I don't know. I don't know what it was.
But you see how human adapts, right?
It is how human adapts.
We want to join the society, the socializing part.
Yeah.
We don't want to miss out.
Yes.
Yet, we are responsible enough not to accumulate debt.
Yes.
A lot of us are like the missing, like what we do, okay? Cut short or something so that we can reward ourselves, so-called.
Yes. And it is important because that social thing for him, I think, helped him to go through that. Imagine if he didn't.
Actually,
and every time he has to say no, cannot. Then,
but that is what's happening in today's reality check. Like a lot of my friends at like late 30s, late 40s, those who are like still, we eat paycheck by paycheck, right? A lot of us have started to lose friends when our friends have a bigger earning power than us.
Yeah, okay.
And then we don't even have enough earning power to join them at casual meetups or gatherings. Right. And then we start to distance ourselves because number one, you cannot afford. Number two, the friend don't even notice you cannot afford. Right? And then you fall into like the whole loneliness thing. Yeah. I have no friends thing. Then it goes to the depression. It's like totally go downhill.
Yeah, because your mental health gets affected as well.
Yeah, correct. Whether I can afford to hang out with my friends is a real question in today's world.
True. And sometimes it's not just about your friends, right? It's just whether you can afford to live in this planet. Like I saw the tweet, I think it was you that shared it with me, about you earn this amount in KL and then just by all the expenses and you have like 500 ringgit to live on food.
Something like that. Yeah, there was a tweet that went viral about, let's say, a breakdown of 3,000 you earn. Yeah. And then after you pay your rent, you pay your car, you pay your whatever to your parents or whatever not, you're left with just 200 ringgit for 30 days.
Yeah. Something
on
like
food and petrol. That's quite impossible if you are like driving a lot. It's just not possible.
And this, right, it's not even trying to keep up with your friends. It's just going to keep up with yourself. So then my next question would be, I would understand if this was your starting out position, your first job,
but a lot of them are not.
Then my question would be, how... Okay, I have never been in the rat race world.
Okay.
I really haven't. So I've been fortunate enough to always have been in my freelance thing. Or actually, hey, I work in NGO. My pay is even less than other people in corporate sector. That's interesting thought, but yeah. but that's if you were in the corporate sector, would it be so impossible to upgrade yourself? And that's all the HDRF funds to ensure, therefore, that your income... I know this is totally very, what's the word? Privileged talk lah, But is it really that difficult to upgrade your skills or your job in order to earn more to sustain yourself? Like for you, you're able to sell things when you need the money. You know how to generate using what you have to earn a bit more to be able to menampung the cost of living.
I actually think it's 50-50. Sometimes you can invest in yourself and just grow and earn more. Yeah. But sometimes, right, it's because your current situation is no matter, you're stuck with 24 hours just like anyone else.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, as much as you try to hustle, maybe your current job that is low paying is already taking 80% of your time. And you definitely need some time to sleep no matter what. Otherwise, it all goes down the drain. So sometimes, right, you're really stuck. Yeah. So maybe what you really need is someone to help, not to give you the fish. Okay? But to come in and say, you can spend half an hour a day online learning a new skill and I pay for it. You just need that to just upgrade yourself to the next level. True. But if you do it on your own, you don't even have enough to feed yourself. There's no way you can learn a skill for free unless you trade time for it.
That's true.
Right? So I can understand how people can be stuck in that cycle of poverty in a way, right? It's because of that time.
Yeah. But having said that, that is like content for another episode lah. Sorry, it's just something that was in my head.
Yeah, interesting how we talk so long about how our spending habits can be justified. So yes, maybe you want to write in and tell us what's your biggest purchase item and did you regret it?
Jom Sembang Malaysia is hosted by two Malaysians who are passionate about Malaysian stuff. Stay tuned every week for a brand new Sembang session with Juwita Suwito and Gina Yoong. Today's episode is recorded at Studio 2105. Remember to click like and subscribe for a brand new episode next week.